Hey everybody, welcome back to our webinar Wednesday. I'm your live stream host, Mike Baltazar, and it is so awesome to be back in the studio. Actually, as you can see, I'm not at the studio right now, but it's just back live with you guys. Took a couple weeks off because, believe it or not, my kids get 2 weeks off for spring break, and so I had an amazing spring break, and just so happy to be back in the saddle here to just share with you everything that I am seeing out there in the world. As you know, I'm a mortgage loan officer. I'm a reverse mortgage specialist. I have an amazing nationwide real estate team as well. And so I just love to share what I'm seeing, what's working, what's not, the areas of opportunities. And of course, just to add the personal side of things as well, because what good is it to have all the wealth in the whole wide world, but you just don't have that understanding of how we could just combine that and balance that with our personal well-being, our emotional, spiritual, and physical well-being. And so today, I just wanted to share something that happened actually this morning. Someone asked me a great question, something I haven't been asked in many, many, many years. And I was happy to answer this question in detail for them. And I want to just restate that question right now and to re-answer right now live here in the Wednesday webinar studio. And the question was this: what do you dislike the most about your mortgage broker job? And that was quite profound. It's a very simple question, but the reason this person posed this question is because I had shared with them, an obstacle that we're facing with some first-time home buyers. And so the first question was, is that the thing you hate the most about the job? I'm like, actually, it doesn't even bother me at all. I understand their position. I understand where they're coming from. I know what information that they're looking for, and it's my job to convey that to them in a very constructive, encouraging, and positive way. They just want comfort. They want understanding. They just want to know that they're making the best possible decision. And so we don't discourage people, we empower people. And so that's the position that we come from. So then, of course, that led to that next question. Well, what do you hate most about your job? And my answer was this. My answer is that, every day we have our challenges and our obstacles, and no loan application looks the same, and no wants and likes and dislikes for every client is going to be the same. They might be similar, but they're never the same. Everyone has their own walk that they're walking, their own life that they're living. Some people are newly married and excited about the future. Some are recently widowed and just struggling to see any light as far as into tomorrow or next week. And so we meet people where they're at. It's my job to understand what's important to them. Not only in the past to have that background and context, but what's important to them now. What do they look forward to tomorrow? And of course, those are a lot of trick questions because we don't know that. So for me, I am happy to navigate all of those variables with those that just have a positive outlook. And if they need some positivity or encouragement, then it's my job to try to do that. But how many of us know that we can lead a horse to water, but we can't make them drink? So for me, I can only go as far as they want to go for themselves. I can't go further than what they want to go for themselves. Now I'm more than happy to go ahead of them, blaze the trail. That way, when they walk into those next few steps, it's a lot easier because I've done the pre-work. I've already foreseen what we're going to have to navigate and to just get ahead of the curve. I think that's part of any professional success, is just how is that client experience going to be? And so, but you can lead them to water. You can't force them to drink. I had just shared a recent episode where I had a client who approached me several months ago, struggling to make their monthly mortgage payment and having very little of their fixed income available for the necessities like groceries or home maintenance or medicines. And so when I shared with them the concept and idea of a reverse mortgage to eliminate their monthly mortgage payment, to pay off some of their bills, and to create a line of credit for them in case they need it down the road. It was music to this lady's ears. It actually, I was connected to her by her financial advisor, because her financial advisor was seeing her deplete her retirement savings a lot quicker than what was healthy. And so they brought me into the conversation, into the question. And so her application was not easy. And as a matter of fact, we navigated a lot of things I didn't think we were going to be able to overcome, but we were able to. Long story short, we made it to the finish line. The loan documents were at the table, ready for her to show up and sign. Guess what? You probably already guessed it by now. She didn't do anything. She didn't want to sign the paperwork. She didn't feel comfortable with it. She was afraid of what it was going to do to the inheritance of her children, the children that don't show up and say hi, and she hasn't spoken to in years, mind you. But my point is this, is I told her, it's not my job to talk you into this. It's my job to give you the information that you want, that you need. But I am not going to tell you what to do. At the end of the day, you need to own your decision 100%. I'm not going to force you to do anything. You can ask me anything you want. I'll answer you honestly, but I am not going to talk you into doing this if that's not what you want to do. And so she didn't sign. She didn't do it. She did call me a few weeks later and said, hey, the HOAs require me to paint my house. I don't really have the monies to do that. Is that reverse mortgage option still available? And so I'll leave that story for another day. But my point is this. My point is that we have to meet people where they're at, give them the information they need, blaze a trail for them if we need to. But again, once we hit that finish line, once we lead that horse to water, we cannot force them to drink. So let's go back to answering that question. What do you hate most about your job? And it's not people who I do a ton of work for get to the finish line and they don't want to drink, or in this case, they don't want to sign those loan papers. It's not for those individuals who will go under contract to buy a house many, many times when they're just chronic counselors. They love shopping for a home. They love making offers on a home, but they're going to cancel during the inspection. So that doesn't even faze me or bother me, or those first-time home buyers or whoever. You fill in the blanks. Those are not the things that I hate about my job. Those are actually the things I love about my job, because it allows for me to show up without an outcome in mind. It allows me to show up without expecting or wanting or doing it for the commission check. It allows me to show up and not have an emotional attachment to the outcome that is profit driven, that's income driven. It really tests my faith. And that's more important than anything I can ever learn or accomplish or achieve in this life and lifetime. It's just, how does my faith show up? Do my actions back up my words or what I say? And there's no better test of faith than when you're doing hours and hours of work on someone's file and not knowing if it's going to get approved, not knowing if it does get approved, if they're even going to sign the paperwork, and they don't pay me a dime unless that loan closes. So theoretically, we could do hours and hours and hours of work. And actually, I have a lot of upfront expenses that don't get reimbursed unless the loan closes. So I could be hundreds and hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars into a transaction, not knowing if I'm going to get reimbursed, if I'm going to close that transaction, earn a commission. So as you can imagine, my faith is tested each and every transaction, each and every day. And I can kind of see my faith in action. It's getting tested. And that's not always the coolest thing. I love to celebrate. I love to win. I love to accomplish things for my clients. And I love to have the fruits of my labor come to fruition. But how many of us know that still can't have that emotional attachment to that outcome or to that income, and just resting and assured in our faith? So let's answer the question: what do I hate most about my job as a mortgage broker? And that's this: when someone comes to me and they need something, they need that approval to improve their life and their lifestyle, and they're 100% committed to that outcome. Maybe they've been let down by other loan officers or real estate professionals, Maybe finally someone had the product offering that was going to be able to possibly meet their needs. Maybe they've been told no by so many different banks and or institutions, and now they see a ray of hope. Now, I don't overpromise at any point in time. I set reasonable expectations up front. Sometimes those reasonable expectations come with very, very low probability of success, but I'm upfront and honest about that. I'll tell someone, hey, we only have about a 5 to 10% chance of this getting approved, of this working. And then if we do, we still have to hope that that appraisal comes in at what we need it to. And obviously, the real estate market here at the beginning of 2026 is a little sketchy at best, right? And so, setting those expectations properly up front, and and letting them know I'm willing to do this, give 100% effort, and then some. Put my team and resources behind you, and then some. Invest some of my own funds into this transaction, and then some, to increase that probability as high as humanly possible. But this is what we're up against. And then if they're willing to and able to take those first few steps with me, and to go down that journey of trying to make the deal happen, and we get really far into it and we get really close, and then at the end something comes up, whether it's a low appraisal, or maybe they something jumped up on their credit, or heaven forbid that the company that we were going to be brokering to had a change of guidelines, or whatever the case may be. Things happen, and we did everything that we could do to increase that probability from 5 to 10% to maybe to 60 to 70%, or maybe we even had it at 99.9%, and then that 0.01% popped up. I hate it when we get so close and we're not able to deliver. I hate that. By that point in time, I have a lot of time, money, resources, energy, hopes, dreams into that transaction, and I want nothing more than to be able to deliver that. Whether I'm making nothing on that deal, or a little something, or a lot of it, it doesn't matter. I want to improve that client's lifestyle. I want to put them in a better position to where they have a lot more hope for tomorrow. And when we get close and it doesn't happen, that really bothers me. Now, that doesn't mean that we just give up and I just send them on their way and just, tell them to, good luck with life. No, we'll try to find some backup plans, even if it pushes them out, 3 or 4 months down the road, or maybe sometimes even 3 to 4 years down the road, making sure that to connect them with, some nonprofits, or some friends or family or churches, or just something that's going to make sure that they're well cared for here in America. So that's the long explanation behind my answer of, what do I hate most about my job? And there's a lot of people that really question why I do this job in the first place. And I'm just wired for it. I just tell people I'm just wired for it. I stumbled upon the mortgage industry as my first job out of college when I was 20 years old. And it's never felt like a job. Not one day has it felt like a job. It's always felt like a ministry. It's always felt like a calling. And I love what I do. And I will go to battle for my clients, their friends and family, our communities. I'm so happy to be with the mortgage company that I'm with. We're nationwide. We have some phenomenal loan officers nationwide. I'm so thrilled to have an amazing real estate team around me that's nationwide. And so just to now have this technology and this platform to just share my story, share my thoughts, share my experiences, share my heart with you, like we're doing right now here on this Wednesday webinar. It is April 8th, 2026. How many of us are shocked that it's already 2026, right? How many of us are shocked that, we're already 3+ months into the new year, and a lot of us are still trying to revisit or get those New Year's resolutions started, right? I turned 49 in 2 weeks, and I'm going to restart my resolutions, or some of them, in 2 weeks. That way I go into 50 in the best shape of my life, best mental of my life, and just super excited to have you and everyone else aboard on my journey. Thank you so much for staying tuned with me for so long today. Have an amazing hump day, an amazing Wednesday, and the rest of the week. And let's get this second quarter off to a very strong start. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic day.